Hey, it's us once again. Say something, Mike B. I forgot my little.
He's JT.
I'm JT.
I got my homeboy with me. Say something. Mike B. What it do?
And that's and that's what he says. Damn it.
What happened?
I don't know, man. The camera, I saw the red dot and I froze up. That never happened.
This ain't your first time.
I don't know. It's just we're here.
Right on.
For another Iyanla fix my life. It ain't working. How about we just start, damn it? And so we leave off with Iyanla with Kizzy and her mama sitting down, and I think the brothers, Marcus is with them.
Yep.
And basically how it seems like they fussing back and forth, Marcus and Kizzy, about them spending time with their mother, or trying to figure out who was with who and blaming who and whatnot, and he was blaming her. Well, you could have at least contacted us, or you the older sister. He was talking about some letters. What letters was he talking about?
Yeah. He mentioned at one point, he's like, if you reach out to one, you should reach out to all. So maybe she had reached out to one of the other brothers somehow. And he said, I read the letters. And he was pissed off.
It seemed like both did she cuss him out? On the letter, and then she was like, well, you called me, or you told me that if there was a funeral, I wouldn't even spit on your grave. And I'm like,
no, what? I would come to the funeral.
Oh, just to spit on your grave. Yeah, I'm like, so
how did we get there?
Yeah, what?
It seemed like what Iyanla kept bringing up is the fact that they were both kind of jealous of each other, of a fairy tale life they thought the other person was living.
And the mama just sitting back.
What's she gonna do? At least they ain't talking about me.
That's exactly probably what
they ain't talking about me. They talking about each other.
And Iyanla was like stressing, this you can't be, this is something your mother called.
Yeah.
And
they rarely. This is part 3 of the whole Mitchell Brothers situation. Mm-hmm. But rarely did they ever really acknowledge the fact that it was Iyanla kept having to bring it up that your parents caused. This was you guys were their responsibility. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to be there. They dropped the ball. And here we got Marcus and Kizzy fussing at each other about what they didn't do. Not the mom about what.
I'm like, the reason y'all fighting is because of them.
And I think Iyanla, she pointed that out, during that conversation or whatever. But that was crazy.
And she told the mama, like, it's your fault.
Yeah.
For not taking your own responsibility on raising your kids. And so you get this. And they blaming each other when this shit shouldn't even happen at all.
Right.
And she had Marcus go and hug his sister, and they kind of made up somewhat,
Yeah, Iyanla was telling him, you guys need to learn to have some compassion for each other, because even though y'all may not have gone through the exact same situation, you both live without your parents, and so this is the destruction that came about. So at least be able to acknowledge, you went through some stuff. I went through some stuff as well.
We were both lied to,
yes.
Or everything was misconstrued.
Especially now that you come to the table and you realize that what you thought was the truth was a lie. Your mom and I don't even know if her mom was telling her, as far as kids is concerned, if her mom was telling her that she was with the boys. It's like she made that up in her head and stuck to it. And didn't want to change.
Yeah. And that's what y'all was telling, like, you crying because you trying to wrap everything in your head, like, okay, I thought this one way for 38 years. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden I'm finding something, and she couldn't get rid of that anger towards the brother. Like, nah, you had mama's love, and I didn't. And neither one of them did. Mama doing her own, she was in California in rehab for wherever she was.
Yeah.
And so, she had them, hug it out and whatnot. And then we move on to Iyanla, Michael Jr. and the mother.
Right.
And basically have Michael Jr. tell his mother, what how he grew up. Mm-hmm. And he was saying how he was molested and he was abused. And he said at one point, like, he was adopted. I didn't know that. I don't know what family. He said when I was adopted.
I feel like they all, except for Kizzy, I feel like all of them went through the process
of adoption.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Or foster care. Maybe he called it adoption.
Kid.
Maybe maybe that's what he's talking about. But I think he did mention adoption. But he was saying, I was still, going through the system, didn't have food. I was being, like you said, abused or whatever. Where were you? The question that any child would ask, when their parents aren't there to protect them or just even be there.
Yeah, you say he thought he think he would have been better off if he would have had his parents and you know, in his life. And she was like, you know, have you ever been to a psychiatric hospital? And he's like, yeah. And she was like to the mama, did you know any of this? And
she said she knew.
Oh yeah,
she said she knew, but she couldn't go visit because
what you call the DSA or whoever the government. I guess it seemed like some type of entity of the government said that she couldn't. I guess because she lost her rights.
Yeah, they lost their parental rights. Yeah,
and plus she was a dope fiend, and so she said what her mother or her sister didn't want her around her aunt.
Yeah, I think she said her aunt.
Yeah, no,
it was a little bit confusing. But I could understand them wanting, you know, to kind of look out for the safety of the children.
Of course.
But then once they remove the children from the home and then put them in this program, whatever it is, it's like they kind of forget about them because the kids still suffer. They still are abused. We heard their stories. They're still molested. Still got to go through some bull crap. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, where's DHS? Maybe it's DHS. Because that just came out so easily.
Hey,
so I feel like I've heard that before.
Okay. And he was like, you know, I felt Iyanla asked him, you know, tell her how you feel or whatnot, and he said, you know, I felt neglected, like invisible, like you didn't even care, like I was alive. You made me even felt like you would have been better off if I wasn't born, you know. I guess you know, he's feeling some type of way. Of course, he said he felt invisible and whatnot, and he felt like, you know, he wanted to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. And you know, I think
that's a running thing between all of them because a child shouldn't have to go through what they went through. Nobody should actually have to go through what they went through.
They didn't feel wanted. And so why even be here? Mm-hmm. You know, why waste my time with this life when nobody else want to spend some time with me or, you know, love me and teach me the ways of doing right or being a, you know, upstanding citizen or person, you know. And plus he has, you know, his challenges. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, he's just flying blind through life. Nilly-willy, you know, and not knowing, you know, and even that he had some type of, you know, problem.
Yeah, even with his challenges, you know, during this conversation, you know, it was getting impressive that he was able to articulate exactly how he felt. Maybe I don't know if they, you know, coached him or whatever, but he was able to articulate how he felt.
He spoke well on
this episode. You know, this episode to me, like you could kind of hear it in his voice, you know, that he has challenges. But what he was saying, he knew what the hell he was talking about. He knows what he's been through, so he was able to express his experience. So. That was good.
And so the mama told him that she was sorry and that she couldn't be a better mother. She wished she was there. She was sorry that, you know, she was on drugs. And she again, that she should have been there during this whole.
When she said, you know, I was sick or whatever, for some reason I thought Iyanla was going to call her out almost because
she said that like a lot.
When you say that, it's almost like you're making yourself a victim in this situation too, a little bit, taking some of the blame
like
off
I had no control over my sickness.
And maybe once she got into it, she didn't have any control. Mm-hmm. But you know, some of those choices you made on your own.
After that, you know, little snippet with them, she went back to Kizzy and the mama, and she was like, you know, what type of relationship, you know, do you see with your mother? And she was like, well, you know, I see us going out getting our nails done, giving her giving advice on kids and raising kids. And
when she said that, I'm like, I don't know if you want.
You don't want that advice, but this is what she, you know, this is what she
like what she would want, you know, right?
But
if everything worked out differently,
to me, it's her mind like a 8 to 13-year-old, you know, a young person wanting this type of affection or attention from the mother or guidance.
And do you think I'm sorry not to cut you off, but do you think even because she's 38 now, do you think it's wrong for her to still want a relationship like that where you can go with your parents and, you know, go out to eat, just have for them like a girls' night out or girls' day out at the spa and doing stuff like that? To me, it don't really sound. That's what I'm saying. It don't really sound like a young person's mind, but you could tell it was coming from a young person's place. When she was saying it.
And Iyanla was like, you know, that sounds good, or how did she put it? She like,
What Iyanla was asking, you know, is that what you want?
Does it sound like something that you want? Yeah. And she was like, well, that's not what you're going to get. And I'm like, oh, well, damn.
Yeah. And then, but she
backed it up.
She's like, oh.
Because she said
that sound like something you would want?
Yeah.
Well, that's, you know, like, you're not going, what she say? She said, let me just tell you, you never get it.
Like she had a sucker and then said nope and threw it in the trash. You know, it was just, I'm like, damn,
that was wrong. And I was waiting on the explanation Because the mother had just said, you know what, I want that too.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you about my problems as well. Like, we can do this. We can be here for each other. You and me will never, you know.
Y'all was right. She was right there in behind the bushes.
Yeah, waiting to shoot that dream down.
Oh, man.
A dream deferred.
And she said, well, you know, and she put in other words like, the things that you want, that woman is not there.
Yeah,
basically.
your mama
can't
give you what she don't have.
Right on. You know, you a grown
Especially
woman
that
now.
part about, you know, helping me with my kids, and, you know, about kids.
I don't think that's the advice you want.
After 8, and she didn't help raise none of them.
Hey, brother. But that, you know, that's a dream. Because she alluded to, like, I wanted. I didn't care that she was on drugs.
That part surprised me.
Yeah.
But I can understand it.
Yeah.
I feel like all the kids felt like that.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't really care what you got, because they never really came out blaming them for not being there, for not, you know, or being on drugs or whatever, even though they had hatred or anger at this point. I feel like if they were around, if they still struggled or whatever together,
but they still there, you know. Ain't that what all kids want? Don't you think might be, you know? Yeah. If this your parents, your family, you know, we struggle together. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, that's a different story. But one, you know, I can't even do that. I don't even know where you are. I don't even have that. You know, and so when it comes to the point where you don't even care if your parents are on drugs,
you just want to be.
You just want to be around them. You know, this
the
my
same,
mama, this my daddy.
That's the situation we got going on Black Ink Crew with Sky and her son.
Oh, okay.
You know, her trying to rekindle that. Well, you probably haven't been seeing it, but her trying to rekindle a relationship with one of her kids. Yeah. And she said she put him up for adoption or whatever. But she was saying, I did that because that was the best decision. You know, I was like staying in shelters and homeless and all this. I didn't want to put you guys through that. He was like, hey, we could have struggled together. Like, he would have rather her been there in their lives.
He felt like they feel like they just didn't care. Yeah. You know, you just left me to the state. You didn't come and I saw you, periodically. And kids was like, you know, grandma set you up and got your apartment. You would stay and leave, you know. So that's what she was going through. I just wanted you there.
Because that was like dangling the carrot in front of us. Talking about kids. Because, you know, she's thinking, okay, mama's in town. She got an apartment. Now we can start building this relationship. And then you gone.
Mama ain't thinking about relationships.
See, I got my check. And I was gone. That's it.
I had no time, you know. My drug, my fix is waiting on. And so they kind of hashed it out, you know. Iyanla did the thing, sit on my lap.
This was the second time she had Kizzy sitting on something. I think
Kizzy was sitting on laps a few times. I'm like, you need to be cradled a lot. Well, I guess Iyanla felt she needed that love,
and maybe she did. You know,
because
she definitely she was teary eyed.
She was moody. That whole show,
she was weeping. Yeah. You know, she
was red the whole episode,
the entire episode, and it's understandable, you know.
And Iyanla was like, you know, what do you now? You know, now that you're older, or you know, now that we're in the future, I mean, in the present, what do you want from each other? And the mom was like, well, what she say? I didn't. She
wants the daughter to not, when they talk to each other, be disrespectful as she can be, because she seemed like she got some heat behind what she says too, especially when her Kizzy and Marcus was going back and forth. I can hear it.
Oh yeah,
so she got
and then
the mama got some bite too. I don't know what she's talking about.
Oh, you heard
Iyanla had to check her one time. Remember early in the episode, Iyanla was like, "Hey, don't be trying to blame her for something when you don't blame yourself for the shit you did."
Yeah, sit in it. Yeah, sit like she was blaming everything or giving excuses. Or, you know, you hearing her, you know, amen going, and I'm like, hold on now, you can't say nothing.
You can't say nothing.
Up here agreeing with, you know. And so after they did that and got through with their exercise, then we sit down with Michael Jr. And the parents.
Yeah.
And this was I didn't know he was a little celebrity. Mike B.
Yeah.
Know about him.
Once they showed the clips, I'm like, I've seen those videos before. Oh, then he said Denzel
101. And he sit down with the parents. It looked like he got sent to the principal's office. And Iyanla is the principal. Now,
and she gonna pull out the tablet and explain.
Now look at this mess. And then you should have saw the look the dad had like, son. Like this is why I named him after myself, and this is what he just had that like
just like total disappointment. And it's like, how you gonna be disappointed when you weren't there?
But you saw that video, though, Mike.
I saw the video.
The video, the first video,
he was disappointed. He was embarrassed, but you still can't say nothing.
Gyrating on the front porch.
And this for the ladies. He showed the ladies.
And then they showed him like in the middle of the street with nothing on but like a trash bag.
Yeah.
And just twirling around doing pirouettes.
I don't know what erotic, comedy.
I don't know
sketch.
what it was, Mike. I've never heard of Denzel 101. I don't recognize his face. He's from the city, but
on Facebook.
Nah.
But I didn't recognize him as the same person though. I thought even when she showed the video, I'm thinking she's going to relate it to him somehow. And then I started looking close. I said, that is it. This dude.
Oh man, Dad was just cracking me up because every time they had the camera on, it seemed like he was just looking at the video like, God damn.
So,
I really did.
So this the shit you out here doing. This, my God. Ain't nobody
my namesake. This is what I got.
Yeah.
And so, she said we find out he has an 8-year-old daughter, and she's like, well, how you felt like. You wanted your parents to change and do things the correct way. How your daughter gonna feel?
Yeah, because this ain't it.
This ain't it. So
what
you need to you need to change and turn things around for her. Mm-hmm. You in the same boat as your parents now. Oh man. But that was a little funny clip for me because I wasn't ready for that video.
No,
I wasn't ready for it at all. I never heard of the guy.
Senior wasn't ready either.
Senior wasn't. I would have looked like him. I probably would have had to stand up and leave.
He
and then
said,
come back.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. That would have been my exact. Like, God damn.
What the hell is wrong with you?
It seemed like he never seen this. He didn't know his son was a celebrity.
Internet celebrity.
Okay. And we end with that little principal's office episode. Scene. We move on. Everybody is culminated. The boys go upstairs. They get dressed in all black suits. I mean, they look
clean. That's clean.
They looking straight. And then they come back in, and they sit in the order of how they're how they fit in the family. The sister, then Michael Jr., so on and so forth. And they go and basically tell what they have learned and how they forgive their parents. Each and every one of them go down the line, and it was good.
What they kind of want from their parents too,
Yeah, what kind of relationship?
Better relationship, I want. I think it was Marvin said, Pops, if you tell me you're gonna do something, then do it. Keep your word.
Yeah. Melvin, Marvin, Mikhail, everybody was, they was like, I forgive you. Now it's just understanding and having a better relationship. And then they went to the sister, and she said, talk to your brothers. And she was like, well, I just want better communication. Right. All of us got kids and they don't know each other. Right. And so, we just want to, have a better relationship with each other, know who family is. And Yon's like, just know you got 5 brothers now. You can warn them. How family is.
That's going to protect me. Yeah.
Because and we found out earlier, their relationship has been strained. And, he can care less how he felt, Marcus. He care less if his sister died. So
hopefully, after this experience, it's different. But then we saw Iyanla hand all of them little certificates. Yeah, like graduation. They graduated this program, and I'm hoping that did you write down the certificates or whatever?
No, I didn't. You didn't go that deep. No, I didn't. I just know, that she basically, discussed what they were working on all through the process, and then and giving them a certificate of.
Kind of what their strongest achievement was during this little process. But when they were doing the follow up about them keeping in contact with each other, for some reason, for all the boys, she would say they've been reaching out to each other. Yeah. But I never saw that they were also keeping in contact with their sister until we got to Kizzy, and I guess it's a little bit better. But they're still not communicating, and the relationship still isn't as good as it could be. Mm-hmm. And I feel like going through something like this should be an awakening process. You all realize that you had it wrong. You were blaming yourselves for stuff that wasn't your fault. So you should be. I think you should be looking at each other a little bit differently and have some compassion, like Iyanla said, and maybe just try to start over.
Yeah, it gave like it seemed like the brothers are having a bad relationship with the dad,
with the father. Yeah,
and with each other. It seemed like
did they even say the brother's relationship with the mom? I don't even remember that.
I don't think. I think they said it's still like somewhat the same. I know the mama was gonna move in with Kizzy,
yeah.
and I guess that never happened. They only talked like 2 or 3 times since the taping of the show, and so I don't know if she's incognito again.
But it was moments on the episode where the mama, like she was there and she was part of the process, but it was a couple times I thought she was gonna slap Iyanla. She was just kind of looking at her like maybe she didn't like the direction that she was leading the kids, especially Kizzy, and that may have put a strain on their relationship.
I guess it was one part when Iyanla was like, "You want me to hold your hand?"
She's like, "I'm cool."
Nah, our part is done. You know, I ain't got nothing for you. But it all in all, I think everybody learned a lot as far as forgiveness and understanding each other, and and tools on. Having a better relationship, and I think it was a good, for the most part, good episode or a good trilogy.
Yeah.
How we found out later.
You feel some type of way about that?
I feel some type of way it might be. I thought it was just gonna be one show, but hell.
Right on. Yeah, I thought it was good.
But it was good, But that's pretty much it. People, Mike B gave the updates. You got anything left?
Nope. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Till next time.
Peace.